All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do a crossover, well, sort of, Green Lantern and Sentinel, Hearts of Darkness, issue number 1 from DC Comics by Ron Marz, Pelletier, and Dan Davis. This is a free issue series, yeah, it also has connected covers. And if I can put this a little bit through, next to each other. Yeah, cool. Paul Pelletier, you probably know him, or not, of course, but he's now doing the G.I. Joe franchise that's out now. I'm not sure he's the regular artist, but he's still doing work. And there was a time that I never saw him for a couple of years, and then he came back. So I'm very happy that he's still doing work. Right? He's a '90s guy, and I really liked his Green Lantern. He did a couple of Green Lantern books as well. But yeah, he's a great artist. I mean, look at this. This is how it starts, right? This is Alan Scott. He is younger now. Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern, he wants to know where his daughter is, right? And he's now here with Kyle. Kyle is now the current Green Lantern. Kyle called him because he thinks that Jenny, his girlfriend, or the daughter of Alan Scott, is missing, right? And Alan apologizes for his reaction, right? Because he's a little bit, stressed. And normally, Jen can take care of herself, but it's Ben and Jerry's that is now suddenly on the floor, and it's not something for her to just do that. So suddenly they think that somebody took her, right? So Alan says, "Did you call her brother in Los Angeles?" He says, "No." Well, actually, that's a good thing, because his brother, or her brother, is none other than Obsidian, son of Alan Scott, of course. And he's, overprotective. So it's probably better that he is not here. So Alan says to Obsidian Todd that everything is all right, right? And also, Kyle has massive respect for Alan because he's like I said, the OG Green Lantern, right? He said, well, where do we start? But Alan says, Brainwave Jr. Who? Well, we have a small history lesson. So Brainwave is the son of Henry. Let me rephrase that. Henry King Jr. was the child of Brainwave and was a foe of the old Justice Society, but it seems that he wants to be a hero, so he joined the Infinity Inc. and became Jenny's boyfriend. Then his father dies, says Alan, and literally willed the kid the bulk of his own mental powers. It turned out to be too much for him. He walked away from Infinity Inc. and Jenny. The power unhinged his mind, and he attacked an army of the Justice League. So he's now institutionalized, locked away. So he thinks he's the prime suspect, and that we need to go look for him. And he actually calls himself Brainwave Jr. Not everybody gets to inherit one of the good names, Kyle. Get yourself ready. We're going to talk to him. You and me? I figured I'm not exactly high on your list right now. My daughter's very likely in danger. I could use your help, if you give it. Okay, he says, give me a minute to get juiced. And that's exactly what he's doing. But then Ella looks at him and he says that, he doesn't have an oath, right? But just seeing you brings me back to when I called myself Green Lantern. Before we go a little bit further, I like this Green Lantern aesthetic. It's very, unusual. Not the typical Green Lantern that I'm going to show you in a second here next after this page. Kyle has this more bulkier, squared. I like the design. Anyway, so Kyle asks or says to Alan why, he doesn't talk too much about his past. How it was back in those days as a Green Lantern. He says, "I'm going to tell you on the way." Nice reflection, by the way. And then, we have a flashback when basically the origin of Alan Scott here. Found a lantern. Look at this lantern-shaped panel. Really cool. There's more of this in the book, by the way, that I'm going to highlight a little bit more. So yeah, this was part of a star heart. Now I'm still a little bit confused, or maybe I lack the knowledge a little bit here, that the star heart was something else. It's not really connected to the Green Lantern power core on Oa. It was his own thing somehow, but it seems that also the Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of Oa has also their fingers all over it, so I have to look into it. So he became a part of the GSA, Justice Society of America. We have all heroes, like the Atom, Starman, the Flash, Dr. Fate here. And of course, later he didn't know that, but he fathered a son and a daughter, but he didn't know that many years later because they were being raised by foster parents or adopted parents. But he still kept going as a hero. But eventually he grew older, and then something happened to him. Then he became younger again somehow. So he followed the energies of the Star Heart, and now the Star Heart was some kind of an evil personified entity, and he defeated it and stayed young, and also calls himself Sentinel now, right? I don't think it's a really good name, but hey, okay, I like it. Cool atmospheric building scenario scene here. So this is some kind of estate, and they're gonna look for Brainwave Jr. And it seems that I didn't know that he bought this whole place to lock him up. I also like the small touches like lighting, coloring, shadow effect here, gives it mood. We need more of this, in my opinion, right? Not all these Photoshop colors and bombastic and neon colors. We need more muted colors, more atmosphere, more this, in my opinion. So he bought it because he wants to lock this guy away so that he stays away from Jenny, right? And he says, I needed to know my daughter would be safe from him. Maybe I feel that much more responsible because I wasn't there for Jenny and Todd when they grew up. I can never make up for all those years I missed. He says, sorry, I'm rambling. But then Kyle is also sharing a part of himself that he never knew his father as well. So they are connecting here. I like that. So there is this Dr. Quinn. And she says, no jokes, please. I heard them all twice. Harley Quinn was a doctor. I get it. Funny. All right. So he says, can you follow me? And she's thankful to Alan Scott for this facility and this patient and this amazing opportunity for such unique mind at their disposal for study. Alan says, I don't give a rat's ass about their studies. I just want them to locked away, he says, right? Anyway, so King's docile most of the time. Like somebody pressed his off switch. That's probably the version you get. But if something sets them off, he's smoking here, right? During the last incident, King somehow got in the heads of one of the guards. The guard tore his own eyes out and hasn't spoken since. Is your hand shaking, Doctor? No, of course not. I'm a psychologist, Mr. Scott. Not a schoolgirl. Yeah, right. All right, so they're going in. And we have Henry King Jr. not looking at his best. And Kyle says, look at him, Alan. He couldn't feed himself, much less have it had anything to do with Jenny's disappearance. Maybe. So Alan sits across and he's asking some questions. My name is Alan Scott. You might not remember me, but we only met once. I'm Jenny's Hayden's father. Do you understand? I'm Jade's father. Talking about that she's missing and that maybe he has something to do with it and he wants to know where he is. But then Kyle says, hey, it was worth a try. Let's get out of here. But then, I don't know, this guy is sputtering and repeating Jenny's name over and over again until something happens to him and he is spazzing out. I don't think his off switch is pressed anymore, Alan. And then something happens. I like the warped image here because Brainwave, right? And Kyle feels weird, but it doesn't affect Alan. He says he's doing this somehow. His mind is unleashing this. He says, I'll deal with it. You need to get out of here. He says, well, I want to get out of here, but where's the door? And look at this, man. I always say that if you do a big splash page or something like that, you have to wow people and say something like, oh man, this looks cool or different or unusual. This is what I mean. And yeah, Brainwave is going nuts. So they turn into their, I don't know, powered up selves. But yeah, Kyle is disappearing. And this guy says, journey, 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 all over again, right? Cool, all these warp things. So he's now in his bedroom with his comics. He recognized it. And then, nice visual cue. Say, who are you supposed to be? Because there is, hey, Kyle, it's so good to see you after all these years. How have you been? Dad? And I like this visual cue here because, I mean, look at this fantastic. So basically, his dad says, hey, haven't you realized yet, son? I'm a missing piece of your life. You've never been whole without me. And basically says that you barely managed to keep yourself together. It's just only a matter of time, really, before you're starting falling apart. Now, this is the part that, again, with all these visuals, and I like it when creators, artists, writers, the whole team come together and say, hey, let's do some crazy stuff, that you haven't seen before, or much, or something like this, that he is a missing part of the piece a missing piece of the puzzle because he cannot remember his dad's face, and then he's falling apart because maybe his whole life is a piece of, a puzzle that he needs to figure it out. I'm just spouting stuff, right? But coming to all these visuals, like the warping of the room, this here, it takes a lot of creativity to do this and actually put it in. No, well, probably not putting it on paper, but what I'm trying to say is that, let's put it in here and see where this is going, right? So they're figuring it all out, and it works. I mean, like I said, you just turn the page and there is something cool to look at. And I paused at this and I got, going back to all these other amazing parts of the of art, also with the, like I said before, here with this atmosphere and the lighting, all these small things makes the comic cool to look at. And that's what you want in comics. You want to have a cool comic. You want to memorize things. You said, hey, you remember that Green Lantern or this Superman or this Spider-Man book where this and this is happening? Now I'm not sure this is memorable or something, but it's something that's going to stick into your mind somehow. And that you probably say, oh, yeah, I remember this. Or not. Anyway, Alan is dealing then with his daughter. And because he's now small, he says, hey, I needed you, and I called and you weren't there. And so Alan comes in and wants to comfort her, right? But then he's growing older rapidly and he realizes he cannot do it anymore. He says, my daughter needs me. I let her down once, I can't do it again. I have to reach her. She's counting on me to rescue her. To rescue her, she needs a hero, not a useless old man. And he's good. Also, the colors is fading, with the darker and washed out more blue and green and red. Really cool. Yeah, like I said, they thought about this. I like that. But then everything is normal again, and it seems that this guy is now being, dealt with. Is that stuff what I think it is? And then a voice says, did you actually think I wouldn't find out? Uh-oh. I hoped you wouldn't. So what are you doing here? Obsidian? Kind of obvious, isn't it, Dad? I'm here to kill Brainwave. This is to the next issue. Pretty cool. We have the whole gang together. Well, the whole family. I mean, I know that Kyle is not really part of the family, but still, right? He is here. Now, what do I think about it? I think it's cool. All these, you know, all this visual stuff aside, what I think is going to be, I mean, the name says it all, Heart of Darkness. That could mean two things. Maybe the hearts of, you know, the people that are being corrupted, or maybe because of hearts that love people, you know, your heart, you have love for someone that is being, I don't know, ripped away or corrupted, or, you know, somewhere else, something dark. Or it has to do with the, well, actually this piece, the Star Heart, you know, the original Green Lantern. I think it has something to do with him, not with him, but with it, you know, because if I see the connected covers, maybe it's just coincidence. It has the green fire all over it, you know, Father Enraged, A Hero No More, right? Burning Fire, Green Fire, the Star Heart. I could be wrong. It could be totally something different. Well, we're going to find out in the next couple of 2 issues coming up soon, guys. So I hope you like the video. So if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to my channel. You know, follow my channel, like my video, and leave a comment. It would be great. I see you next time. Bye-bye.